epic drop rates, hour-long fights, selling you a guy that you already had. You'll soon be at a loss, knee-deep in electric sauce. You won't survive it, don't be cross. It's only natural since I'm the boss. You'll never see the end of robot hell! Alright guys, it's WillBits, and it's time for the final showdown in Robot Hell. A lot of ground to cover, let's check it out. My evil plan has come to fruition. New York is now officially the permanent home of Robot Hell.
Just because you say it's official doesn't make it so.
True, what makes it official is this welcome letter from the mayor and the accompanying package of tax incentives. Alright, first things first. Place the robot devil's throne. That's something you can do with just last week's stuff. You don't even need the pink stuff for it. But it is gigantic, and you cannot put it here. So you're gonna have to find room somewhere amongst your other stuff to find it. Good luck. Alright. We found a spot for it. Perfect! You're also going to need to send Ghostbender off on an 8-hour task, as if he doesn't have enough to do. But you can wait for that. This whole quest chain is for getting them onto the new space map. And while that is important and very good, you're going to have some time to kill. So just get that process started for the beginning of things. And we'll come back to that later. Because the main thing we need to work on here is our prerequisites for actually getting the robot devil. The thing that you want. I don't know if you have to be on week 5 to get this quest. In theory, you might be able to do it without him, but it's going to be a little tricky. Let's go over it in detail. You'll need to kill 20 robot snakes in combat. That's not too hard if you're able to run the second week maps. There's a ton of robot snakes, so surely you should be able to clear some of those there. Complete any Robot Hell on Earth mission 6 times. This confused me at first, and I thought it meant you had to do the ones on Earth specifically, but if you run the Chapek 9 missions, that should also count, as when you click on it, it actually even takes you to the first Chapek 9 mission. So if you haven't completed any of these, this is you being incentivized to perhaps go back and take a second crack at some of those. Maybe pick up some pizza, maybe pick up some stuff that you've missed already, especially since you're going to need to get those snakes anyway. The other thing is defeat the robot devil 12 times. Now this is probably the first new mechanic that we've had for a while. Everything else in the game has been pretty standard. And in fact, if you look at the actual prize ladder, it feels very similar to the previous weeks. The Robot Hell slot machine is going to be pretty easy to throw down, and you're going to just go down the prize ladder to get Pazuzu in Notre Dame, and then that's basically about it, is that everything else is just either decorations that are neat, or things that are going to help you unlock Pazuzu. He's a cool character. He doesn't seem required for things, although there's probably going to be some map paths that do require him outside of the one we've already seen. Let's go ahead and put this down, just so we can have it ready. So Pazuzu's on the map. Robot Devil is a meta achievement that we're going to be striving for that hopefully isn't going to be too hard. He's not as much of a gimme as Lure is, but he's not at the end of those drops at least. Father Changstien El-Gamal, who I showed off briefly last episode, is this week's premium. I'm going to pick him up because he's neat, and also his building is flipping gigantic. Just to get our full roster. I'm not even sure what he dropped there. But he's going to help us clear some of the new things that are going to be coming out here pretty soon. With all the havoc I've caused here in New York, I think it's time for me to stop and do some soul-searching. Shouldn't you have done your soul-searching before you started wreaking havoc on the city? You misunderstand me, Bender. I'm going to search the city for souls I can collect and drag down to hell. I usually save my own soul-searching for when there's nothing good on TV. Recruit the Robot Devil, have Robot Devil soul search, yada 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 yada. Those are all neat quests for after you get him. So what we're really going to look at is here on this proper Robot Devil throne. It's confusing that there's one back here and also this one that we've placed down, but you do have to place both of them. So go for the one that is here in your Central Park, and you can actually see your full roster of all of your characters. All 14 potential characters are going to actually be able to be used for this fight. And it's not going to work like the lure fights. In the lure fights, you kind of set everybody and forget them, and it was just a check on them every like 4 hours and make sure they've done their thing, and then re-queue them, put them back up, doop-dop, and they would just do their damage. This one is going to work a lot more like a conventional boss fight, to the point where I'm actually going to pump a few of these guys up a little bit in their levels. Oh yeah, beefing some of these guys up at least a little bit. I don't think you need these guys at 30, but the higher you can get them, the better, and I'm going to go ahead and just pump them up a little bit just to have them. Devilish Fry, I think, is going to really shine here. As well as, surprisingly, I think Off-Duty Earl is actually a really, really smart choice in this particular set. And we don't have to go nuts with him, but I do just want to put a little pepper on these guys. And let me show you why. Now, obviously, you can run this team comp however you like. If you want to run it with, like, 5 robots, you do it. You do you. But with the way that robot buffs have been nerfed, I think that that is a bad strategy. My optimal party is Devilish Fry, gotta have him. Roberto, just because he's pretty strong, and by their powers combined. Then you want a Influencer, and probably a robot. I like Fender because I already have him leveled up. Whoever you've managed to get up to the highest. Then just bring on Earl because he's the only other interesting different damage type, and you're going to want that extra damage. Influencers don't do any extra, robots don't do any extra, so the only 3 options that actually hit harder are Earl, Devilish Fry, and Roberto. So let's go into the actual fight. And there are a bunch of minions. So the real gimmick here is that we're gonna try to kill as many of these minions as we can, as quick as we can. We're making pretty good headway with these guys. Is that the Robot Devil is completely immune. Look at his cool thing here. And mostly every single time he attacks, you thought this would be a fair fight? Every time he gets a turn, he's gonna summon another minion. So you must be able to kill at least 1 minion with every cycle of your guys. Or he's going to actually just have an infinite number of guys and you'll never get past them. At that point, you'll have to basically bail out of the fight with the X button out here. Once they're all down, which hopefully happens pretty soon, you can start hitting the Robot Devil himself. And I would say be a little careful with targeting him because your characters will keep hitting him after he becomes immune. Now cut that out! Alright. Oh, I didn't read that. But now we can actually hit him. He brings a guy in. We're making headway on him. So Fry's buff is especially strong because it buffs your characters permanently. Whereas once the minions are gone, the new ones don't come back in with Roberto's debuff. So what I'm especially worried about is that later fights will have harder minions, specifically the bomb minions, because as you can see, there's a whole set. No fair! This was supposed to be rigged for me! And there we go. The first one's not too bad. Every time you beat him, he's gonna drop you 5 Giga Chips. Wherever there they are. You get 5 Giga Chips, and you also get a magnet. And that magnet you're gonna need to start crafting magnet bombs. 2 hours will actually make 5 for you, which is pretty good. My prediction is after 4 hours, which you could rush with pizza, but he'll come back. And I think there might be streaks. I don't actually know. If it's just that every single time, then that's really exciting. The 2 types of bomb. Magnet bombs you can make, those are going to be used in the new space map. We'll look at that in a little bit. But the other types of bombs that you can make is the spell bomb. It's got a little X. Looks like a Final Fantasy mute thing on it. To make those, you are going to need a Wart of Omicronian, which they come from the Amalgamated Church, Trump Trapezoid, and Robot Gargoyles. So you're going to need Pazuzu or Father El-Gamal to make some of those. You get a lot more stuff. You get them a lot more quickly if you've gotten him. The Wing of Bugalo only comes from the Robot Showgirls, so you're going to need to set Fender and hopefully Roberto to work clearing those out if you want to make these bombs. And then everything else drops the Eye of Amphibiosin. You're going to have plenty of those. Those are used to stop the Robot Devil's buff. His attack right now is to create more minions. But if you use one of those bombs, you can stop him for 3 turns. That's not as big of a deal if the fights are going to keep going the way they did in the one that I just showed you, because it wasn't too hard to just kind of out DPS the minions he was bringing in. If he's going to keep getting harder, then you're going to need to come in with as basically a bunch of different bombs to just clear out his minions quickly, then drop a spell bomb in his face, and then just do as much damage to him as you can. I don't know if his health is going to go up. I don't know if his other stuff's going to go up, but this may get a little hairy because you are supposed to beat him 12 times. In theory, with a 4-hour break, you could have him in 48 hours. It'll probably take closer to 3 days with reasonable pauses in between for bomb crafting and sleeping like a sane person, which you should definitely do. But 3 days to get him is pretty exciting if he's actually that easy to just click through. We'll see what happens when we actually get in there. And now I shall take my seat on the throne of evil. Well, don't get used to it. My friends and I plan to get rid of you and your evil army. And you know what I'm gonna do then? I'm gonna take your stupid throne of evil and put it in my living room and sit in it while I watch TV. Probably I'll put some LED lights on it or something, too. I don't know, it's already on fire. It's lit up with an unnatural evil glow that never ends. But fine, LEDs are cool, too.
The end times are nigh. When the battle between good and evil is ended, robot hell shall engulf all of New York.
Why can't you ever predict anything happy for a change?
You want happy? I'll give you happy. Bunnies are coming.
Bunnies?
Yes, bunnies. Evil bunnies who will herald the end times. I'm sorry, happy just felt wrong.
Alright, and this is a quest for get 2 spell bombs, which will take a little bit because we don't have those crafted yet. You have a 6-hour task for Magda here, so she's going to foretell some grim fates. And then they actually want you to defeat the Robot Devil 1 time, but it doesn't count retroactively, so you're going to have to do it after that quest is finished at least 1 time. And at least the second time in, Robot Devil does not seem to have gained any more health or any scarier minions. But I suppose we'll see. So yeah, I don't know, if he scales up, he has not done it yet, so I'm okay with that. You and your friends think you can defeat me?
Yes, well, not actually sure what my friends think, but I definitely think I can defeat you. Or at least, I can defeat somebody. Let me qualify that. Somebody can defeat somebody.
I'm going to enjoy knocking that cockiness out of you, you arrogant upstart!
According to the professor, the Robot Devil's army feeds on human greed. If we can control it, that might give us the advantage. But I want things! Lots of things. You think I'd be a delivery boy if it weren't the gateway to fabulous wealth? It's a good thing the Robot Devil's army doesn't feed on stupidity.
So, a 4-hour task for Billionaire Bot.
This is a bit awkward.
And a 2-hour task for Fry.
We'll get there one day. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's gonna take us all day,
but we'll get there.
Billionaire Bot, listen. We can weaken the Robot Devil's army by reducing people's greed. So I'm collecting money to help the needy lessen their desire for material possessions. Would you mind donating?
I don't think donating to the needy is the answer. A more efficient solution would be to donate money to me.
That will reduce my greed all at once, and then that loss of greed will trickle down to the lower classes.
Who do I make the check out to?
Incisive political commentary. It's my old friend Earl. I see you're off duty, so this is the perfect moment to unleash my robot gargoyles. At last! Oh, don't do that, man. I need some time to unwind. Relax, I'm sure the evil police union rules will prevent you from having to take another shift. It ain't that. You unleash them gargoyles, it's gonna keep the ladies away from the clubs. Craft 10 magnet bombs. Yowza. Ghostbender has a 2-hour task. Off-duty Earl has a 2-hour task. It's gonna take a while to craft all of those bombs, but eventually we will make it to space. We will do it. I have confidence. Robot gargoyles? How are we supposed to defeat robot gargoyles? You could always surrender. Give up. Bender isn't known for giving up. You give up all the time. Yeah, but I'm not known for it, so keep it quiet, would you? I've developed more bombs to deal with the robot gargoyles.
Why do you always invent bombs? Can't you come up with another way of killing the gargoyles?
I've tried killing them with kindness. It's unexpectedly effective, but very slow.
Forget it. Wong don't roll that way.
So now that we have a lot of nice bombs, we can finally look at this new map. Let's check it out. We are definitely gonna bring you and you, maybe one of these guys. We'll check it out. We'll look at it in a minute, because I bet we need some specific people. All right, to fully clear this map, you will need to, at different times, bring Off-Duty Earl, Billionaire Bot, Pazuzu, who, by the way, is now a delivery boy, if you hadn't noticed. I don't know if I actually mentioned that explicitly. He's not an influencer. He's our second delivery boy. Fine. Monsters get to be delivery boys, I guess. And then, of course, there's a path for Robot Devil. All in all, this is going to make one big, cool fire flame. This is awesome. I'm going to put this on the roof, on the hood of my car. This is going to go on the hood of my car. Just this map exactly, with the character faces and the Giga Chips. Just that goes right there. The easiest middle path doesn't require anybody, so this team will be fine. I don't have any of the right characters to get through this the hard way, but it does mean you will need it does mean that you will need Off-Duty Earl up to 25 if you want to fully complete this map. Everybody else you can go at slightly lower levels, and I bet that path and the Robot Devil path are both doozies based on their levels and who they're asking for. Let's quickly look at these gargoyles who need magnet bombs. And my main question is going to be, can I defeat them using the Roberto trick? Because that's what I want to do. I want to continue doing no bomb runs. Actually, let's just hit him. It still does -1 hit, and they're not hitting that hard on this path. All right, buff number 2 for Roberto. Well, so doing it twice with a level 30 Roberto, and they're now hitting him for 7 and 8 damage. So it is doable. Another buff would make it hit even harder, or a captain buff, I think, would get in there. But just so you know, for your own purposes, it looks like it's going to be at least 3 buffs to do damage at oh, I could also just kill this one. Adoy, because she has way less defense. And with the 3rd Roberto buff, wow. They are tough. So this is doable. This easy path is still Roberto doable in a way that is, like, that was 3 buffs with the level 30, and they're now doing 24, 26 damage. Okay. That's pretty tough. It might be worth throwing a magnet bomb, and I would say if you're going to be doing any of the hard paths, you absolutely want to have some magnet bombs in your pocket ready to throw out at them, because if you're taking any kind of real damage, that's going to get nasty really, really quickly. But along this kind of easier path, I think you will be able to do it the conventional way to save some amount of bombs and at least start this process going. But it's probably going to be a lot more profitable to, especially since you have 2 of these characters already for these leftmost paths. So if you can go into a billionaire bot and use some of those bombs that the quests are making you get anyway, that's probably going to be the faster, more efficient path for actually collecting everything that you need to get this week done promptly, because you have a lot of things to put down. It actually takes 15 robot gargoyle metal just to get the slow-cooked robots thing set up. And I'm not sure how many Pazuzu and Notre Dame are going to require. So that's basically, this is all identical to the last 4 weeks. Hi, Vladimir, who is, I assume, an animated deco, and not a character because he does not get any kind of tag. He would have a class or a level if it was any other scenario. Pity, because he's a cool guy, but kind of a throwaway character from the show. But not any more so than Pazuzu, let's be honest. But that's basically going to be your week. If this is the case, I feel like defeating Robot Devil is really just going to be a case of, can you get Devilish Fry and Roberto at least up to like level 15, 20 at minimum. I think 20 is what you should shoot for. 25 is better if you have the money, if you have the chips. I realize that's a tall order for some people, as with the gauntlet of stuff that you've been going through. But Off-Duty Earl, Roberto, and Devilish Fry are going to carry because they're the ones who actually do the damage, if that stays at that level. I've only done a couple of robot fights. I don't know if the streaks are going to progress, but I don't see anything that says streaks on here. So maybe we lucked out, and it's really just a test of, are you at the level that you can do this where it is, and you're just going to go through and get your very own shiny brand new Robot Devil. I expect he's going to still have the same debuff as Roberto, which running both of them would potentially work to really debuff people quickly. That's going to be an interesting thing to test out once we get a Robot Devil, but as it is, that's going to be it for the Robot Hell event. If you are on pace within this week, I think it should be pretty easy to pick up. Not as easy as Lure, but maybe easier than Nadinda? I can't tell. It's hard to gauge from this point. What do you think? Are you guys anywhere close to getting Robot Devil? Is this intimidating or scary? Or does it look like a fun end to the week that you'll be able to get through in a reasonable amount of time? I'm really curious how many people are going to be adding these guys to their roster, and how many of you guys, I've seen some people who are still stuck in like week 2 and 3, and my heart goes out to you guys because what a mess. But as it is, let me know. I'm excited to, honestly, clear out the Robot Devil event, have some peace, look at some things that are not red and on fire, and just move on with our lives just a little bit to see what else is going on. Halloween's over. I've taken out the pumpkins in the front yard. I'm ready to be done fighting devils. That's gonna be it from me from this episode. Good luck. See you guys next time. Bye for now.